What's up, Bears fans? What's good? What's good? What's good? Well, as you probably know by now, the Bears with another loss. Now look, things could have been worse, and I know what you're saying, but Brent C, we lost 30-13. What are you talking about? Well, for one thing, there could have been more time left on the clock for the Chargers, but fortunately, we only played 4 quarters. So hey, there's your positive right there. Now, that's a joke. So don't get heated out there in YouTube land. But let me say this, Bears fans. I am going to put this loss, and I do mean this loss, squarely on the coaching staff. It is one of those games where you had momentum coming in. We're on the road. We have our rookie QB, but we have one of our better running backs coming back. Because look, as I've said before, the Chicago Bears have one of the best running backs room in the league. Easily, we have some of the best running backs in the league. Here's the problem. We're so wishy-washy on when we use them. That is a major problem for me. But before I get into it anymore, listen. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like, and listen. Leave a comment because we got to talk about this. Because all this past week, all I've heard is we are probably going to win this game, but it'll be close. Hey, we did not come close to defeating the LA Chargers. About ready to say San Diego. But the LA Chargers, let me tell you something about their offense. They are dynamic. When they're rolling, they are good. And what did I say in the last video? If we don't find a way to slow them down, man, it's going to be a long day. Their defense may not be all that, but that offense is definitely on point. Let's get going. Now, Bears, we received the ball first, and believe it or not, the first pass from Tyson Bagent, a 41-yard bomb to Darnell Mooney. At that point, Bears fans, you couldn't tell me nothing. Unfortunately, we had to play on. And that's when it all started to crumble for the Chicago Bears in that game. Now look, the talk since the last game was, hey, Tyson, he cannot throw the deep ball. Well, with that 41-yard bomb, he proved that, he can get it down the field. Now, the next question and answer, can he get it down consistently and accurately? Now, for the remainder of the game, he tried to get it downfield, but he either overthrew or underthrew the ball. So I think it's safe to say 2 or 3 times a game probably is the max that we can try to throw down the field with him as QB1. I mean, the arm for anything 20 yards in, hey, he's got it. The quick release is there. He's got just enough power to get it going. So, it's just one of those things that hopefully he can grow into it. Like we say, this is only his second start in the NFL as a rookie, and he didn't look all that bad. Now, I'm going to say this with the best way that I can and as politically correct as I can. Our offensive line has to be the worst in the league. And I know you heard that from me before, but I have to just, put my stamp on it this time. It is just unbelievable that our offensive line, where everyone has been in the league at least 3 years, and our solid veterans have been in the league at least 7 years each. Lucas Patrick, Cody Whitehair. These guys have been in the league a long time by NFL standards. So after the 41-yard bomb, why is it that Lucas Patrick gets 2 penalties that sets us back that we had to punt the ball? I need someone to explain, how do you do that? How? You're a professional football player. Dude, you've been in the league, you played the center position. Why do you continue to get penalties, Lucas Patrick? And let me tell you something. Cody Whitehair, love the guy, but I do believe he has seen his best days. They've passed him by, plain and simple. He cannot hold up for no longer than a second. In the last game against the Raiders, he looked good because we were getting the ball out quickly. And, I was like, okay, maybe him and Patrick, maybe, just maybe, they're getting their shit together. But, unfortunately, they proved what they've done, what they proved already this season. They have no consistency. Constantly giving up pressure up the middle is not going to help whoever is quarterbacking our Chicago Bears. So listen, this draft coming up, we have to look at getting some solid offensive linemen. That's just how it is, Bears fans. We need younger, bigger, or more powerful. I don't know how else to say it. We need the interior of our offensive line to be stout. That's what I want to say. And right now, we're getting average to below average play from Lucas Patrick and Cody Whitehair. Our second series in that first quarter, much better. I mean, we had good runs from D'Onta Foreman, and Roschon was getting some plays up in there as well. So look, Bears fans, say it with me. We are a running football team. We are a running football team. You know why? Because our offensive line cannot hold at the point of attack for long, for an entire game. Plain and simple. Now, the right side of our offensive line with Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright, who is still, in my opinion, nursing his left shoulder, those two are our best offensive linemen right now. When we run behind them, positive things happen. When we go to the other side, if it wasn't for the mean running of D'Onta Foreman, he would be getting covered up quickly by opposing defenses. Now, that's not to say that, we can't get good play on that left side. It's just not consistent. It's definitely not consistent. And even though in the Chargers game we were moving the ball very well in that first half, we couldn't really get anything consistently because why? Penalties. We continue to be a penalty machine as an offense and defense, and I'm going to get to them, don't worry. But as an offense, knowing that we cannot get the ball downfield consistently, we have to be gap disciplined. We have to be disciplined in our play, and that way we can maintain drives. Now, it's not that nobody knows what they're doing. It's just that stupid penalties seem to just creep in, and once you get that first one, it's just like a boulder going downhill. It's just going to pick up steam, and it's just going to continue on. And that's exactly what happened, Bears fans. The penalty machine, it was clicking on all cylinders last night. Now, that first half, let me just say this. If Luke Getsy, our offensive coordinator, could devise a game plan where he sticks with the run game and uses play action, I think we will be better off. But when is he going to do it? Against the Raiders? We did it. And look what happened. Now, yes, I know the Raiders are not that good of a football team. They were on their backup quarterback, and then by the fourth quarter, they had their third quarterback in. And the Chargers defense is one of the, believe it or not, one of the worst defenses in the league. We couldn't exploit it. They're against the run, they're like 29th in the league. Against the pass, they're like 31st. So it just boggles my mind that after a week of practice, we cannot devise a good offensive game plan. I don't know what's going on. Luke Getsy, who I've said multiple times, needs to be fired. Why? Because he is so inconsistent. He can do better. Hopefully, one day, somewhere, not here in Chicago, he has to go. That second quarter for the Chicago Bears, that is when the defense said, you know what? We gave our all. Let's start screwing up. I'm not sure what was in the mindset, but Tyreek Stevenson, he started getting the penalties. And then we started giving up. And now look, Austin Eckler is a very dynamic running back. Running the ball, catching the ball. But how does that guy, for the game now, he had 6 catches for 94 yards. 6 catches for 94 yards. What is going on there, defense? I'm not sure what they were thinking, but let me tell you something. It all started to unravel in that second quarter. The pressure, once again, from the front four, non-existent. The linebackers doing their part, but it just seems that they just lost concentration. And once Herbert, the quarterback for the Chargers, started getting going in that second quarter, that was it. They were very comfortable calling plays to anyone. Running back, the backup running back, wide receivers, tight ends. It was amazing. They definitely had a game plan. And once that second quarter hit, they knew. They knew that they could do anything against that Chicago Bears defense. Now, it seems to me that we need to go ahead and give Gervon Dexter and Zach Pickens extended playing time. Because in the second quarter, once Gervon got in there, let me tell you something, Bears fans, he can get pressure. Here's the thing. He's going to get double teamed. The center and the left guard for the Chargers, they're double teaming him. And he's still getting good pressure. Now, Nate Billings, our bowling ball, not too much pressure this game, but let me tell you, he is a very powerful man, let me say that. But I'm looking forward to the time when Pickens and Dexter get extended playing time together with both our starting defensive ends, because just limited reps and just getting thrown out there, it seems to me that they can't get in the rhythm, because the rotation is what it is. But we have to start giving them more time. And I like Nate Billings. Justin Jones, I haven't been really thrilled with him this year, but we're not getting consistency from our starters. I mean, something has got to change, and I say give the 2 rookies more and starter reps. More time, starter reps, and let's see what happens. Because listen, Bears fans, we are now 2-6. What do we have to lose by getting our defensive tackles more time to play? I don't see any downside to that. So, in that second quarter, like I say, our defense holding strong for a little while, but then the penalties, and then next thing you know, the Chargers are warmed up, and the Chargers use their tight ends to get them their first downs, because once again, what does our defense not like to do? Let's get off the field. On third downs, they just have a hard time getting off the field on third downs. I just don't know why. The game plan has got to be better. And let me say this, because the announcers on the game saw the same thing I did. Once Matt Eberflus, our head coach and / defensive coordinator, started going in the zone in the second quarter now, that's when the wheels started to fall off. We are not a very good zone team, plain and simple. I know in the cover 2 that Matt Eberflus likes to play, you got to play zone, but as we saw, that does not put up enough resistance against a good offensive team. And look, at the half, what was the score? At the half, 24-7. And I'm just going to say I just had the feeling that going into that second half, maybe going into the second half, there will be very little change as far as the offense, as far as the defense, and it was true. I don't know why. Now, look, I don't know why the defense can't maintain. I mean, yes, they played a little bit better against the run in the second half, but in the past, nope. They were the Bears of week 1 again, for whatever reason. So that second half, let me say this. The Chicago Bears defense gave up over 200 passing yards to Justin Herbert. Where'd they do that at? Where'd they do that at? I mean, I just don't understand it. That zone concept doesn't work that much anymore in the NFL. I mean, unless you just have some complete studs from the defensive line all the way back to the corners, can't play heavy zone. You can't do it. So, I don't know. Matt Eberflus has anything, you know what I say, have a great life, because he needs to be fired, because as the head coach and now defensive coordinator, he has shown me that he is so inconsistent in play calling, and his adjustments are just time consuming. You can't spot a NFL team in the first half as many points as they can get and then say, hey, now we're going to buckle down and play ball. You can't do that. And with Luke Getsy, our offensive coordinator, still trying to figure out a balanced game, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we are a running football team. It saddens me to say that against the Raiders, we ran the ball with Foreman and Evans 31 times. But in this game, with Foreman, Roshan Johnson, and Darrington Evans, we've only ran the ball 19 times for the entire game. The entire game. You can't do that in this league. You can't do it. Plain and simple. You can't do it. You just need to be consistent. And then, as I said before, then you do your play actions, you get the ball out. It's just elementary football. It's basic level. Basic level. Now, one good thing I'll say in that second half, a little bit in the first, our guy, Cole Kmet, he showed up. I was hoping he would last week, but he was in blocking for most of the game. And, of course, you see that it worked. But in this game, he was out there catching passes. And I do believe Cole Kmet had 10 receptions for 79 yards, 0 touchdowns. What are we doing? Why can't Cole Kmet catch a touchdown pass? And let me say this. What in the world is Velus Jones doing? If the ball hits you in the chest, you got to catch it, sir. You got to catch it. It hit you in the chest even while he fell down on the ground, ladies and gentlemen, and he still couldn't come up with it. You know what they say? If the ball bounces your way, it's a good thing. Well, guess what? It wasn't a good thing with Velus Jones. So, wide receiver wise, he needs to just go back to special teams and just stay there. He just needs to stay there. Why Tyler Scott, who looked good last week, did not get that much play, especially I would have gave him the chance in the end zone over Velus. Velus is more special team trick play type of guy, jet sweep. So I don't know why. I mean, granted, Velus got open, but what's the point of getting open when you can't catch the ball? I don't know. So, but look, Bears fans, that's the second half. Like I said, the Bears defense started to warm up a little bit against the run, but unfortunately, Chargers know how to throw the ball. Look, the offense in that second half, it was just more of the same. Luke Getsy, not scheming players open, not exploiting the field like he did last week. Of course, last week he was either throw to the left, throw to the right in the flat and see what happens. And for the second game, DJ Moore targeted, 5 times? Targeted 6 times, caught 4 passes for 55 yards. I mean, when are you going to get the number 1 receiver that we traded for? When are we going to get him involved without Justin? I don't know. I mean, get him the ball. If you got to force feed him, force feed him. That's our number 1 receiver, ladies and gentlemen. And when he caught the ball, you can see, hey, he's a physical receiver. Physical receiver. So why aren't we trying to exploit that? I don't know. But we got to do better in that regard. Have to do better. So that second half, as I'm saying, Bears fans, Tyson Bagent, he's a good QB. I'm going to say it. He's a good QB. Good game manager. Able to get the ball out quick. Yep, we get that. But when you needed deep passes, Luke Getsy didn't dial him up in the second half. The screenplay, which we absolutely only can do in the preseason and look good with it. But that's when, Luke Getsy just started calling those screenplays again. And that is when I kind of tuned out the game. Because I'll tell you, when we get behind, Luke Getsy gets conservative. I mean, like I say, second half, Cole Kmet, he was doing his thing. Absolutely. But you got to be able to get the ball to your number 1 receiver. And look, Darnell Mooney caught the 41-yard pass in the first quarter. Why was that his only catch of the game? Why? You knew they were going to put people on DJ Moore. So why wouldn't you have Darnell Mooney become a focal point in the second half? I don't get it. Luke Getsy, let me say this. That guy has got to go. That's all I'm going to say. Our coaching staff, they suck, and they have to go. For the first time ever, I've seen, this year, our president of operations, Warren, he was at the game, and look, the couple times that they show him, he was shaking his head, he was taking notes, and I'm pretty sure those notes said, we suck. Our coaching staff suck, all that. So it's just one of those things, Bears fans. We got to tighten up all the way around. And for me, it starts with the coaching staff. Now, it's something that needs to be said. And look, if you get the chance, as I said last week, a fellow YouTuber, his page, Chicago Bears 360 with Coach T, he explains and breaks down things that you can fully understand. And he calls what our offensive coordinator does before the game. And it's just like, if this guy can pick out what Luke Getsy's going to do, what are professional teams doing? knowing what Luke Getz is going to do. And I think we saw it against the Chargers. When you lose 30-13, you're not putting a good game plan together on either side of the ball. Either side of the ball. Now, interesting stat that I looked at before the game, the Chicago Bears averaged 6 penalties and 65 yards a game. 6 penalties for 65 yards every game. That's unsustainable. You can't sustain that, ladies and gentlemen. That is not good football when you're doing that every game. You're giving teams 65 yards every game. Giving. You can't do that. Can't do it. Can't. So look, Bears fans, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. But listen, we got to start looking at some changes on our coaching staff. And this is why I consistently say, who are we going to get? Put it down in the comments who you think we're going to get next as a head coach. I mean, I know there's rumors out there about, Harbaugh up there in Michigan might be coming out, but, he's in trouble up there. So don't take one person's trouble and add it to yours, to you and yours, right? So with that, Bears fans, I'm going to get up out of here. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, leave a comment, and hey, let's hopefully get a win next week. We'll see where Justin Fields is at with the thumb injury, because I do believe we have the New Orleans Saints. And Derek Carr, I do believe he just put up over 300 yards. So against our defense, boy, if we don't get enough pressure, it's going to be an extra long day. Extra long day, right? So with that, I'm out of here. And as always, peace.